Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with Tomo-chan is a girl episode number 9 reaction. Okay, the previous episode, it was a really good episode. We actually get to see quite a few things. First of all, we get to see Misuzu's situation as to what she thinks about the whole Tomo situation, how Tomo likes June, what she thinks about it, and what's going on in her mind, because there were always certain sections where I found that Misuzu's decisions were kind of unusual, and it properly answered my question. And so basically, the whole situation is Misuzu, since her hobbies are not similar to Tomo's hobbies. Tomo is more into boyish hobbies, like running around, jumping around. She was never able to have fun with Tomo. That is why when she started having feelings for Jun, uh, you know, uh, Misuzu realized that this is a good, way to kind of let her come to me and bond together, and that is why she tries to make me, Tomo more girlish, because that will make her have enough extra time to talk with Misuzu and hang out with her. So this is like a big thing, and there was a lot of questions that were answered when I realized this after watching the previous episode, where she herself kind of explains it. And not only that, a lot of other things also gets answers. Then there was that part where the first part of the previous episode was the summer festival part, and the next part was the part where those delinquents again try to mess with Jun Tomo by trying to capture Misuzu and Carol. So things goes down in a different way, and again Misuzu kind of manipulates the situation into making them situation in such a way so that they never actually try to mess with them, and takes them to a warehouse and actually scares them for life. And we also get a little bit of different, what can I say, we get to see a different face of Misaki senpai. And yeah, a lot of things happened in the previous episode, and I'll be honest, it brought in a lot of light to the whole situation, and made me see a lot of the characters in a different way, especially Misuzu. And yeah, let's see what happens from this point onwards. And a lot of character development is going on. Let's see how this goes. All right, episode number 9, let's get started. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference, and let's begin. Right, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. This is Misaki, isn't it? Yeah. Hmm. Tomo-chan. Hmm. Angel. Oh, there she is. Oh my god. She has the same voice. Still. Oh boy. Alright, so we're gonna get a little bit of Carol today. Alright. Okay. The danger's true face. Okay. Okay, so this is when, yeah, he decided to join. Okay. Oh, this is current. Okay, okay, wait a minute. Weak. Oh, yeah. Evil spirit. Yo, he's like, oh, you need to get exercised. Evil spirit? Okay. Good God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wait, who is sitting on top of him? Yeah? Train in extremes. True. Damn. Yeah, well, you're gonna get defeated. Ooh, here we go. Okay. Oh no, you're getting defeated. Oh my God. Ooh! Damn. Yeah. I don't think so. Oh my God. Yeah, you're keeping yourself, you're making yourself vulnerable because of that. Damn. Okay. Damn. Wait, he scratched him? Oh no. Ooh. Well, yeah, I guess did hit him, kind of. Hmm. Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, at this point it's pretty obvious. Yeah. Is that why he decided to go into a karate dojo? Like, hmm. True. You need to have the inner strength as well. Hmm, yeah. Oh no. Oh no. This guy, he's gonna make it so, like, like he's gonna make another misunderstanding here. Here we go. Oh my god. You dumb. Yeah? How much dense can he be? He's on the same par as Jun. Like Jun still, okay, I'll talk about it later. Oh my god. Oh god. Where did where did she hear that from? Oh boy. Mm. Oh my god. I can understand the reasoning for the title now. What? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. What? Wait, what? Please leave now. Oh. Yeah. It's partially your fault. Kind of, I guess. Wait, what? Wait, what? Oh my god. Look June's face. She's scaring me. Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh god. Did she go? He ran away to Tomo's house. Good lord. Oh, oh boy. Because he still thinks, yeah, he still thinks of her as like an obstacle or whatever. Mhm. Mm. No boy. Okay. Oh my god, she actually. Well, You and your denseness is the reason for that. So just. Oh, she's going to directly talk with him. All right, let's see. Yeah, just just stop. Well, okay, at least he. uh, yeah, like please don't make this situation even more complicated. Just like yeah, like we have the whole thing with Tomo and Jun already complicated enough. Oh God. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Damn, Misuzu. Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. Yeah. The, mm, no, he. Oh, oh boy. Oh no, what's going on? What's up with her face? Oh, wait, what happened? I thought she was crying or something, but no, I don't think. No, no, what's going on? I for a moment I thought she's crying or something, but um. Okay, what? Okay, wait a minute. Interesting. You know who? I realized it. Misuzu reminds me of Hachiman from Oregairu. If you think about it. Oh, good God. Okay, I think she's probably okay. She probably will. She has a good poker face. Okay, she is crying. Okay. Oh my god. Ugh. Ah! Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Mm. Yes, there you go. At least one situation is resolved here. Banzai. Well, I never thought about it. Wait, wait, what? Oh, ah, wow. So there's a reason behind why she always gives like a face. Oh, interesting. All right. Yeah, 2 centimeter. Nah, nah, she's. Whoa! Because because of her eyes. Good God. Wow. Okay, so the Carol situation is resolved. Thank God. Like I was saying, not Misuzu, sorry. Misaki was making the situation so much more complicated with just being just dense. And Gundal's like, alright, you know what? Time for me to move. Oh boy. Okay, that's it. All right, that was this episode. Okay, this episode was fully dedicated to Carol and Misaki Senpai, and we get an actual, you know, like a we get an actual result or like a conclusion to their whole situation, to their story, and yeah, everything worked out pretty well. Okay, this episode we begin with a little flashback of Misaki in his room, kind of talking about how he was like a very unsociable kid and how he was kind of cynical as well, and he always was like gloomy in his room reading books, that type of thing. And like he met Carol one day when Carol came in, and that is when he was like, oh, this is like this is like a definition of an angel. And from that point onwards, he started having like a like a started putting her in a pedestal. Kind of reminds me of the Tomo situation as well, where June also kind of does the same thing, where he puts her in a pedestal, thinking that, oh, I'm still not caught up with her. And the whole, as he talked about in this episode, man to man, the what did he say, the thing that the resolve, the the that situation, what did he call it, the man to man. Okay, I'll talk about it at that moment. He needs to resolve that first. Unless and until he does that, and unless and until he catches up to Tomo, he won't be able to look at Tomo as a girl. So he just said that in this episode, and it's similar to that as well, I guess, here, because Misaki also did the same thing. Unlike Jun, who put Tomo in a pedestal and was like, oh, I need to defeat her, and then I'll be able to look at her, like in the same league as me. Otherwise, she's too far ahead. Misaki did the same thing, where she was like, oh, she's like too far ahead. I I can never catch up to her. While both Carol and Tomo, they 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 want nothing of that sort. Tomo just wants June to look at her as a normal person, as a normal girl, while Carol also wants the same thing from Misaki. While these two are like in their own like thing, in their own, has made, like, put them in a pedestal, and has are like like interacting with them as if they're someone, like in like a completely different uh, area or something, like in a completely different league, that type of thing. Either way, that was how they met, Misaki and Carol. And then we are back to the present, and we see Misaki has gone to uh, Tomo's dojo, and he's like, I need to get, like, stronger. And I love how the dad is like, oh, you look weak, but you have something in you, a devil or a demon or something inside of you. And yeah, anyways, so the training starts. Like both Jun and Tomo are training him, like like extremely, like 200 steps. They're like going up the steps, like running for like I don't know, like how many kilometers, whatever. and doing these crazy things like push-ups with Tomo's dad on top of him, and I'm like, how can he even do that? Anyways, all these things, and that's like the training they're going through, and Tomo's like, don't worry, like she says that your opponent isn't going to care what kind of condition you're in, so you need to be ready at each and every moment. And he's like, all right, fine, sure. And there you go. So practical demonstration now. Jun is going to fight him, and now here we go. Here he starts with his whole dense protagonist, syndrome or whatever you call it. He's like, oh, I need to get strong properly so that I can prove myself to that person, obviously, which is Tomo. And obviously Jun gets pissed off listening to that, and he's like, what did you say? And and Jun starts fighting him. Now Jun is strong, obviously he's like going like fast and hard, and however Misaki also tried his best. Unfortunately, gets hit by Jun and falls unconscious. When he wakes up, he's like in Tomo's room, and Tomo's like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. And here they have like the conversation, and Tomo asks him directly that, oh, you're doing all of this for Carol, aren't you? And he's like, oh yeah, actually I am doing it for her, because like the way she is, I've never been able to do anything for her, but the previous day we saw what happened, so like I'm trying to be at least a little stronger so that I can help her out. And all right, so Tomo says that just because you have lost to someone doesn't make it right to reject everything about yourself, which is so interesting because I feel like Jun needs to hear this the most. This word applies to Jun so much. Just because you've lost to someone doesn't make it right to reject everything about yourself. Jun needs to hear that, first and foremost. Okay, and then she says that you said that yourself. Besides, no matter how much you train up your body, the things you can resolve with are the things you can resolve with this are things that don't even matter. Alright, funny thing is, I was saying that Jun needs to hear this. Jun was actually listening to this outside, So yeah, and this is the thing with Jun. He understands everything. He knows everything. He realizes. I'm pretty sure he realizes his feelings. But he's so stubborn, and he's is so much fixated on what he wants to do that he's just not going to budge from that. I'm pretty sure he understands everything and he realizes everything, but he still doesn't budge. And and he needs to actually have like a confrontation with Tomo, unless and until that happens, and unless and until he is able to because according to him, he has never beaten Tomo at anything. So I feel like things are going to change when he confronts Tomo properly and actually defeats her in something, and then and there he things will change. Unless and until that happens, Tomo and Jun's relationship will always be in a standstill, and it will not change. And I feel like Jun is actually kind of getting ready, or making up his mind to actually confront Tomo soon in the future, hopefully. Either way, so next we get to see Carol and Misaki are coming back, and Carol is like, oh, you look kind of strong, manly, don't you? And he's like, oh, is that so? I went to Tomo's dojo, and like I said, here begins this whole thing again. The dense main protagonist syndrome. Oh my god. I was face farming. I was like, you idiot. Not only are you making your relationship more troublesome, you're making Jun and Tomo's relationship more troublesome as well. Just stop this. What the hell? Don't, one thing he said here, he's like, then Carol asks him, oh, why did you go there? And he's like, oh, I went there to, like, become strong. Like, obviously, I'm sure he means everything, and he doesn't mean it like that. But the way he said that, obviously Carol is, you know like, not happy about it. Here's what he says: of course that makes his practices tough, but I want to be the kind of man that she'll acknowledge. Cal just stops here, and Cal is like, Kochan, what do you feel about Tomo-chan? And he's like, oh, why do you ask that? And she's like, just tell me. I see Aizawa-san as, well, a role model, I guess. It's obviously that she's physically strong, but she's more than just. And I'm like, yeah, great. What is okay? Like, great. Just with this one, like, sentence, he makes the situation so much more complicated. Like I said, not only is he making his situation complicated, he's making Jun and Tomo's situation complicated at the same time as well. Because after this, Carol goes on her own mission to, like, mess with Jun, which makes the situation even more complicated. And, like, I'm like, yeah, great, like, good job, like, great. Anyways, Carol's eyes are blank completely. She's like, huh? And she immediately goes to June, and she's like, oh, hang out with me after school. I love how June is like, I don't want to. And she's like, no, you have to come. And she's just smiling and going. And before, like, going past Misuzu, she's like, things are not going to go the way you want. I think that's what she says. Yeah, I don't think the things are going to go as you want it to. Now, oh my god. After that, obviously, Carol feels bad. We can see that Carol is like, in her head, she's like, like, I'm doing bad stuff. Not only to Tomo and Jun, but also to Misuzu. But yeah, I guess this was the only way she saw for some, like, doing something. And okay, next we see Jun and Carol outside, and Carol is just looking at people using her binoculars. she's like, she's just watching people do stuff. Anyways, and here Carol kind of talks about her situation to Jun, and she's like, like, I'm doing something mean to Tomo, and now, and also I kind of was mean to Misuzu as well. But like, Jun is like, don't take Tomo for a fool. I doubt she is going to leave a friend because of small things like this. So he's like, all right, fine. You want to hang out with me? Let's go. And I'm pretty sure Cal told her to bring her to him to his room. And yeah, so Jun is like, what the hell is going on? And I love how Cal, first of all, the first thing that she says is that the reason why this is not working out is your fault, partially your fault. So I'm going to bother you. I guess that is true, because if you think about it, like everyone involved in this is at fault except a few. Like, Mrs. is not at fault. Carol is not at fault. Everyone else who's involved in this whole mess, that is, Tomo is somewhat at fault, on little bits and pieces. Jun is maximum at fault, and then obviously Misaki is another one who's the maximum at fault. Like, Jun and Misaki were like just competing with each other. How much they can mess up in this situation. And I feel like Misaki actually kind of went past that and made Carol so pissed off that Carol is like, I need to I need to bother June. And that's what happened. So yeah, and obviously, yeah, June is also at fault if you think about it partially because of his own situation. Like, if you think about it like that, like, he is not getting together with Tomo, which kind of indirectly means that, like, Cal is being what's that word, bothered by the whole situation because Tomo's still single and she's getting bothered by that because Misaki's there, and it's like a complicated mess. So Carol is like, it's your fault, partially, if it doesn't work out. And Jun's like, wait, what? Why is my fault? And she's like, okay, I'm going to bother you and take my frustrations on you. And she actually kisses him on the cheek. And Jun is that part is so fun. I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure like thousands of people have clipped this part, and I'm pretty sure as soon as I open YouTube, there'll be thousands and thousands of YouTube shorts of the part where Carol says "Gao." Oh, that was cute. I'm pretty sure. Just I'm gonna just go to YouTube and search that Carol Gao or Rar, and I'm sure like thousands of clips are gonna pop up after this. Oh boy. Anyways, June is freaked out. June is like, oh no, this is scary. What's happening here? And he's just like keep hiding his face, and he's like, oh, what are you doing? And Carol actually tells him that why are you so afraid of girls? The similar thing you do to Tomo as well. And if you keep up that like that, you won't be able to get with her anymore. And Jun just pushes her. I love how he just pushes her out, and she just falls on down completely, and Jun just leaves. And he runs away to Tomo's house and just goes and grabs Tomo, and he's like, "Oh, save me!" And Tomo obviously is flustered, and Tomo's like, "What's going on?" And Carol comes in, and and Jun is even more freaked out. Okay, this is the part where he talks about like how he's not able to accept see Tomo as a girl. The reason he says the blonde chick was right, but I still cannot fully accept that Tomo is a girl. And I bet it's because we still haven't settled that man-to-man score yet. Yeah, there you go. And that is still kind of, and that was I guess you could say, the beginning of everything, where he decided to be stronger and surpass Tomo. And from that day onwards, he has been, chasing Tomo. And he still hasn't been able to be, content with what he has achieved, and he still thinks that Tomo is way far ahead of him, and that's why he's not able to accept her as a girl. He's not able to see her as a person who he should direct his affections towards. So he needs to very soon, I feel like, actually have, I don't know, a fist fight with Tomo. I feel like that's what's going to happen by the end of it. He and Tomo will have a huge battle. And in the end, probably June will confess or something. I'm sure this is how this is going to end. I don't see this ending any other way. Like, June needs to confront Tomo. Anyways, okay, so Carol comes in and June just freaks out again, and Carol is like, I'm sorry, you both of you, and she leaves. And next day as well, she goes to Misuzu as well, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry for that, Misuzu. And Misuzu's like, okay, so fine. And Misuzu's like, so what happened to Misaki? Did you tell Misaki about the situation? And she says like, yeah, I did say that. And she recounts what happened when Carol narrated the whole thing to Misaki. Misaki was extremely conflicted by it. So Carol is very happy now, and Misuzu's like, you're a frightening woman. There's no telling what to do if I left you to your devices. And Misuzu's like, alright, you know what? Maybe I should actually let you go become together with Senpai already. Otherwise, you're going to complicate things even more. And Misaki's like, alright. Sorry, Misuzu. Misuzu's like, alright, I'm going to see what I can do. So here, Misuzu realizes that, alright, you know what? I need to do something in a different way. The only way I can see this situation getting resolved is if I make Carol, understand that unless and until she, she changes, or she okay, oh no, she decides this later on. First she talks to Misaki. Okay, no, okay, I'll talk about that later. First she brings Misaki and she asks Misaki, how do you look at Carol? And I love how Misaki again tries to act as the dense protagonist, and Misuzu's like, just stop, like everyone knows what's going on, you're not fooling anyone, just tell me directly, like I don't want any of those nonsense. And he's like, yeah, okay, you know what, yeah, I like her. And Misaki's like, yeah, Misuzu's like, yeah, I've gathered that. In, and you know how she feels too, doesn't you? Why don't you give her the answer she wants? And he says that Kial is very strong, unlike me. And he says that how he was this gloomy kid. However, after like Kial is like a ray of sunshine, this and that. And he says that I've known her forever, but I've never seen her in a weak state. Okay, so here becomes like starts another complicated situation. So what Misaki says is that I've always seen her smiling. She never like breaks character. She's always this strong like bright ray of sunshine. So I feel intimidated by that, and I always feel that I'm weaker than her, and that's why I'm trying to get stronger so that I'm able to like be at the same like level with her, and then I'll probably confess. Similar situation to Jun, if you think about it. And he says all of this. The main difference between Tomo's situation and Carol's situation is that we later get to know that Carol's situation is actually a fabrication. You know, the reason why she always keeps a smiling face and never breaks character is because her mom said that, oh yeah, something like her mom said that, oh, like you look beautiful when you smile, or something like that. And that's why she decided to be like that continually from that point onwards, and her mom has regretted that from that point onwards, because she never shows emotions. And that her whole strong persona, or that thing, obviously she's strong as a cat person, definitely, but her completely never breaking character and all that, that's a fabrication. And Misaki has been looking at that fabrication and getting intimidated. So their situations is way more way less complicated than Jun and Tomo's situation, where Tomo's strength, or her confidence and all that, is not a fabrication. So Jun will actually have to confront her in the near future, unlike Misaki's situation here, where Misuzu just tweaked the situation a little bit and made Carol completely lose character at break character, which made the situation fix itself up properly, and it went into auto repair mode. Like Carol broke character, Misaki realized his mistake, and went and apologized, and everything worked out properly. It was so easy because Carol's character, strong character, or her never breaking character, was kind of a thing that she was doing forcefully, or it was like a fabrication, because her mom told her to always keep smiling. However, Tomo's situation is not that easy. She genuinely is strong, and Jun will need to confront her sooner or later. Either way, Misaki talks about this situation, and he says that she was always strong, and she's all never breaks character. She's always this bright ray of sunshine, and I've always found myself inferior to her. And he says that once I started about having that kind of relationship, I suddenly felt scared. There you go. That whenever I say something to try to woo her, or pushed her away as coldly I could, she just accepted like it was the most natural thing. So yeah, it's so crazy, because this is a similar fear that her mom had. When Carol's mom said that I always feared that, since she accepts everything, maybe she'll do the same thing when if you say that to her. So I've always been scared about it. So yeah, and this is the same reason why he was so intimidated, because Cal was such a bright ray of sunshine. And yeah, that is why he never confessed, and tries to act as if he doesn't have any feeling for her. So Mrs. is like, all right, you know what, I'm going to do something. And she says, like, you want to see her in a vulnerable state, don't you? Want to see her break character, don't you? I'll take care of it. And so Mrs. Wu goes, into the classroom, and she, in her head, she's thinking, and Cal is like just jumping around. Cal is like, oh, like, what happened? Everything is okay. Like, what did Misaki say? And Cal, in her head, she's thinking like, oh no, as soon as I say that, she'll probably going to hate me from here onwards. And but she's like, I need to do this to mend the situation, so that like, this situation at least resolves itself. So she says that, oh yeah, I talked to him, and it seems like he doesn't, like, he doesn't look like you are that way at all. It seems impossible. The only reason she was rattled when you talked about June is probably a feeling that he has, that a father would have for a daughter when the daughter will get married, that type of thing. So it's nothing like that. It's kind of impossible for you. Directly, she just says that, and Mrs. thinks that, oh, I doubt she'll be this easily convinced. But then when she looks at her, you know obviously her whole character breaks down completely, and she was like, like crying obviously, and just leaves. And here Misuzu, like, realizes that, oh, I feel like I went a little bit too far. And Carol just runs out. Tomo and Jun, she kind of jump bumps into them, and yeah, like, they see her in that state, and she runs away. Now, like I said, I realized this in this episode. Misuzu reminds me of Hachiman so much from Oregairu. If you've watched Oregairu, my teen romantic comedy snafu, she is. The more that I'm thinking about it, like, it's dawning on me more that, yeah, she is completely like Hachiman. Misuzu is obviously like, both Hachiman and Misuzu has that same level of cynicism. Both looks at the world in a very different way. And and not only that, there's only one difference between Hachiman and Misuzu, which I can say, is that Misuzu is very ruthless. Like, she's like, oh, you dare do something to me, I'll destroy you socially. However, Hachiman is completely opposite to that. He's as timid as he could be. That's the only difference I see between them. But everything else, Hachiman and Misuzu are completely similar. The main thing, the main quality that makes them so similar is the self-sacrificing quality. If you've seen Oregairu or My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu, you'll know what I'm talking about. Hachiman is a character who sacrifices himself for anything and everything else, for his friends, for everything. And, like, his whole story in Oregairu revolves around that, where he sacrifices everything, even for his friends, and his friends don't like that. His friends don't like him sacrificing himself for their sake, and because they get hurt when they see Hachiman getting hurt, which Hachiman doesn't understand. Hachiman is such a loner. Hachiman is has such a, like, low self confidence and everything. He thinks that no one will care about me if I sacrifice myself. Let me sacrifice myself to make my friends' lives better. Everything will be fine. But he doesn't understand that sacrificing himself will make his loved ones sad, because he has such low confidence level. And yeah, Misu is kind of like that, not as extreme as Hachiman, I would say, but she's kind of similar to that, where we can see here as well, she kind of sacrifices her own thing, where she was like, oh, I'm pretty sure she's going to hate me, but I need to do this. So she sacrifices her own, like, status, or whatever you call it, and her own friendship with Carol, to try to fix the situation. And she does that, like, not only here, we've seen her do that multiple times before as well, where she sacrifices anything and everything, even herself, for the well-being of her friends. So that's why I was like, yeah, she really reminds me of Hachiman. Anyways, Misuzu quickly goes to what's his name, Misaki's class, and she's like, quickly go home, like, like, Carol, like, I said something to Carol, and she, just look at her face now, look at how she is. And yeah, so immediately Misaki goes, and I love how Tomo is on the roof, and Tomo's like, what did you do to Carol? And again, like I said, the whole self-sacrificing thing. Mrs. is like, yes, it's because I did something to her. So what? Thomas like, drop the bad girl act. Just explain it to me. Why am I the only one out of the loop? And yeah, and Misuzu tells everything to Tomo. So Misaki goes to Carol's place. I love how the first thing her mother does is bash him in the head, and then she's like, "Go in." She's inside, and Misaki goes there, and Misaki's like, "Alright, I need to mend this situation. It seems as if I indirectly rejected her, so I need to mend that situation first." So he gets in, and he's like, is she going to greet me like she usually does? But she gets in, and he sees that Cal is crying, which is the first time he sees her that way. Because, like he said, he's always seen Carol in a very bright, bubbly personality, and she's ever seen her like this, which always made him intimidated, thinking like, oh, she's someone in a pedestal, like she put her in a pedestal always. That is why. But seeing her break character completely, he apologizes, and he's like, what was I doing? Like, I she's not an angel, she's not a goddess, she's just a normal person. And he apologizes, and Cal just beats him up with a pillow. And you can see how she's talking normally, because even the way she talks is kind of like a fabricated way she talks, like the broken way she talks, like in a very cute bubbly way. Here she talks completely normally, and if you like listen to her here. And so everything she did up until now, like the bubbly personality that we've been seeing, is obviously, I won't say that it's completely fabricated, but a part of it was fabricated, and she did it so much that it became part of her personality. So I'm sure from this point onwards, she's going to keep talking like that. However, like we do know now that that is something that she created, because her mother told her that, oh, always smiling, always having this bubbly personality will make you more beautiful. Something like that she said. I'm going to read that part. What she exactly said, I forgot. Anyways, but yeah, she completely breaks character and just starts talking normally. And she's like, oh, just beats him up with a pillow. And Mrs. Misaki's like, oh, stop, like what Misuzu told you was wrong. Like it was fake. Like it was not true. I never said anything like that. And Carol is like, that Gundo, and she's so angry. She's like, Misuzu-san, that jerk. What's up with her? And Misaki tries to make the situation better. He's like, oh no, she did that to help me out, and Cal is like, why would she do that? Explain to me properly that I could understand. So obviously no running from here. So Misaki's like, all right, I can't be a coward from here. I should actually be honest with myself. And he confesses to Carol after that, and Carol obviously is very happy, and she's like, banzai. And Carol also confesses, and there you go. And Cal is like, oh no, Misaki's like, then why do you like me? And Cal then says that, oh, just because you stayed with me from my childhood. And I love how she gives a very simple explanation in the end, that why she likes him. He says, I like you because I like you. I love you because I love you. That's very much like Carol. And she was probably going to kiss him or something, but her mom comes in and with a whistle, and she's like, stop, just no more. Like, like break this up now. Let's go. I have something to talk to Misaki. And yeah, she takes Misaki with her, and talks to him about Carol's situation. And here is where we get to know the reason why Carol is always like that. So I'm going to read this part because she explains it. The reason why Carol never stops smiling is because I told her that she looks cuter when she smiles. And there's a reason why she said that. She said that I said it when she was little to make her feel better because she was crying. And I'm pretty sure that Carol's mom probably didn't even think that Carol is going to take that so literally and is going to obey that so much. She probably, like how parents tell their kid that, oh, don't do this, like this makes you seem weak, so try to be stronger. Or oh, don't cry, it makes you look if you smile, it looks cuter. This way to kind of appease them and make them stop crying. I'm sure she probably meant it in that manner. However, Carol took it too, too much word to word. She took it for, and she was like, "All right, sure, I'm going to keep a smile." And she never cried after that. And Carol's mother realized, like, what have I done? Why have I, why did I even say that? Now she never cries. She always keeps up like a character up. And she says that, but she said, okay. And from then on, she wouldn't cry anymore. There you go. And she says, I'm scared for her. As it say that love changes a person, but if you said something like that to her as her boyfriend, there's no telling how it might change her. True. It just worries me too much. And I like how Misaki talks, kind of dispels her worries by saying, oh, you don't have to worry about that. First of all, I have no intention of saying anything weird to her. And even if I say anything to her, I doubt she's going to, that's going to bother her from here onwards, because she has friends now. It's not that me or you are the only people in her world. She has a lot of other people in her world as well. So since she has so many people in her world, she's not that easily going to change from this point onwards, because there's a lot of other people who will also give their own opinion to it about them, which is kind of true, because from the childhood, Carol only had one person at first, which was her mother. Because if you remember, Cal explained how she never was able to make friends, and people her friends rejected her. So since the only person she had with her was her mom, and she was like her best friend to her, when her mom said that, oh, don't cry, keep smiling, it makes you cute, she took it too literally, and she was like, oh sure, why not? Because her mom is the only person in her whole world. And she gave her mother's word so much more priority that she stopped crying from that point onwards at all. And she just kept smiling. Obviously, her mom never meant it in that way. Her mom never told her to never cry. She said that, oh, don't cry, try to smile more. But she took it too literally. And she just stopped because her mom was the only one. And then came in Misaki as well. And like Carol's mother says, that Carol's mother started fearing, because if Carol likes Misaki so much, if Misaki says something to her, she's going to change in some drastic manner, which should never happen. And that's why she's always been scared. But Misaki, what Misaki tells here is correct now, that up until that time she only had two people in her world, but now she has multiple friends as well. So now at least she's not going to change that easily, because she has other people supporting her. So it'll be okay. I think she knows what it means to be loved by those around her. And Carol's mother is like, all right, fair enough. You bring a good point. I kind of trust you now, this much. Anyways, yeah. Okay, after that, everything is okay now. And next day, Misuzu and Tomo are waiting for Carol to come. And Carol comes in with a rabbit mask. And I love how when Carol goes towards Misuzu's just freaking out. Misuzu's like, oh, what are you going to do to me? Well, what's wrong with you? What is that? And Carol, we see that the reason why Carol was putting on the mask is because she has cried, and her eyes are puffy. And she comes, opens the mask, and smooches Carol, what's her name? Misaki on her cheeks. And she says thank you. Now here's one thing, I kind of forgot about this before. She's a foreign transfer student, isn't she? Yeah, I think so. So that is why she just smooches everyone. I was kind of surprised seeing her smooch June, and now I'm realizing that, oh, even her, that's normal to them. As a sign of endearment, Carol does that, has done that before as well. So I'm like, alright, makes sense, because I really was surprised seeing her actually smooch June. So yeah, and here she does the same thing to Misuzu as well, and she's like, "Oh, thank you, Misuzu," because yeah, if you think about it, Misuzu was the main reason why they got together, and yeah, there you go. And Carol and Tomo's just laughing, and they're like, "Ah, you lost this one, Misuzu," and Misuzu's like, you guys are annoying," and starts scrubbing her face. And that's where it ended. A really good episode. At least one situation is resolved. That is Carol and Misaki's relationship. All that is left now is for June to have a fist fight with Tomo. have have a little, like a little battle with her, and and whatever happens, whether he wins or loses or like draws, you know after the confrontation, hopefully he confesses, and yeah, everyone will be happy then. Anyways, that is it. That's my reaction to episode 9 of Tomo-chan is a Girl. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed, and comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. That's it. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next week with another episode of Tomo-chan is a Girl. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.